The Space Between Answers, Episode 6, The Light That Blinds. There's a reason people say they were blinded by the light. Because real illumination doesn't feel like enlightenment. It feels like everything you thought you knew just got incinerated. You've been living in carefully constructed darkness where your doubts feel wise and your confusion passes for intelligence. Pink Floyd sang about comfortably numb. Most people prefer that to being uncomfortably awake. I spent years thinking I understood life because I could counsel people through the darkest moments. Friends would call me when their marriages collapsed, when depression hit, when they couldn't see a way forward. I had all the right words, all the psychological frameworks, all the philosophical insights. I was an expert on pain I never really personally experienced. And then my Aunt Cindy called me one Saturday night. We were like brother and sister, only a year apart, raised together on Bronze Street in Eldos. We spoke regularly. She'd been through a bit of a spell through her marriage. 4 kids, abuse, compromise after compromise. I talked her through countless crises over the years. That night, I was truly exhausted. Just got back from a gig. I saw her name on the phone. Must have been about 11 o'clock. And I thought it's probably her wanting to check in and tell me she loves me, wishes me well. I didn't answer. Cindy was murdered that night. Raped and killed by thugs in an alley right next to her home while she was walking home from a friend's night out. Every piece of wisdom I'd ever dispensed to others became worthless noise in my head. Every philosophical framework I built to understand suffering crumbled like paper in fire. The intellectual scaffolding I constructed behind purpose and meaning, gone. That's when I discovered something that shattered my carefully organized worldview. There are truths you can only access through relationship, not through reasoning. There are realities you can only encounter when your theories fail completely. Because here's what terrifies intellectual people more than being wrong: being helpless. And grief makes you absolutely, utterly helpless. No amount of education or analysis or clever argumentation can touch the depth of real loss. Your evolutionary psychology tells you grief is just chemical reactions helping the species survive. Fascinating theory, but explain to me why those chemicals create a hunger for justice that transcends biology. Why they generate questions about eternity that serve no survival function. Why does loss make you reach towards something you claim doesn't exist? For months I carried guilt that nearly destroyed me. I should have answered that phone. I could have intervened somehow, could have been there. The what ifs became a form of intellectual torture that no therapy, no psychology, no psychological framework could touch. And then something broke through that I can only call grace. Not an idea about grace, not a theological concept. Grace itself. Personal, immediate, undeniable. It didn't come through study or reasoning or intellectual breakthrough. It came through surrender, through something that knew me completely and loved me anyway. Something that understood my guilt and chose forgiveness before I even asked for it. That's the light that blinds. Recognizing you're not a random product of cosmic accident, but a deliberate creation of something that embedded love so deep in your DNA that even death can't destroy it. The question isn't whether this light is real. You felt it breaking through your darkness in moments you can't explain away. The question is whether you're brave enough to stop protecting your eyes and actually look. Because once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. And that changes everything about who you think you are. That's what we'll discover next week. If you can handle it.